prevail. The Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has found the Director General of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Doyin Okupe, guilty of receiving more than 200 million naira cash from the former National Security Advisor, retired Colonel Sambo Dasuki. While delivering her judgment, Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu held that Okupe violated the Money Laundering Act by receiving such huge amount of money in cash. Consequently, Okupe was sentenced to 2 years in prison based on counts 34 to 59 as filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Well, he has, however, paid the fine of 13 million naira to escape being jailed. Babajide, let's start first of your reaction on this court judgment and the likely implications. What do you make of this?
Well, the law is the law. The law is clear. You must, if you are receiving a sum of money in excess of 10 million, 5 million, 10 million, you have to pass through the courts. You are not permitted to receive cash because they know that receiving cash enables money laundering. Receiving cash enables corruption, in the real sense of the word. You know, if they had agreed amongst themselves that, oh, this money, what you should actually pay is 150. Once they pay you cash of 200 million, you can keep the 50 million, keep the cash. The people that you want to settle, you settle them. That's how corruption regenerates itself. So the framers of the law will know that, okay, when money passes through the banks, it allows the EFCC to be able to trail, follow the trail and know where it terminates in the final analysis. But if you give cash, it becomes difficult. You know, it becomes difficult to even trace. So this is the thing. But, you know, during the time of the former NSA, and because such monies are not audited anyway, usually when they need some money, they'll just say, go and meet the NSA. The NSA will give you. Or most of the time through the directive of the, based on directive of the president. But as the judge said, yes, the president gave directive, but he did not say that they should pay you in cash. So it's not an excuse. The judge fined her 500,000 on each of the 26 count charge. And the judge was quite lenient, allowing for allocutors, and then his wife, the plea of his wife, as well as the plea of his son, led to the leniency that I think the son is soon coming. So the judge was lenient, allowed the option of fine. If there was no option of fine, Okupe will have been cooling his heels and maybe Kuje prison or somewhere else. And you know,
but I want to do, before I want to ask you this, you know, this is not the first time we get to hear politicians having this amount of money in cash. So I'm even wondering, if this is a case where a court could give such a judgment, I would like you to see more individuals brought before the court for issues of, you know, handling such amount of monies.
It depends. If the EFCC does not file, if the prosecutorial agencies do not file the charges, they get away. It's still happening even today. Even higher sums have been exchanged
in cash.
Yes. In fact, I just saw a story in which they said government will stop cash withdrawal from public accounts. That will go a long way, because a lot of people in government officials, senior people in government, ministers, and they receive bribe. They receive bribe. And when they receive this bribe, a good number of them will receive bribe in naira and then go to convert it to dollars. That's why our taste for the dollar, our hunger, our appetite for the dollar is undiminishing. At any time of the year, the appetite is undiminishing because our people, a lot of them have stacked so much cash and they want to use dollars. Somebody got a hefty bribe the other day. He wanted to use the money to buy a house. What did he do? He got 80% of the money as dollars. The remaining sums of money, the remaining amount was in naira. The dollar is easier for them to move around. Yeah. You could actually have $10,000. Nobody will know you have anything. Even $20,000. You know. So this is the thing. We have to deal with money laundering, and it is by applying the law, right, by applying it strictly, that we can defeat money laundering. People think, oh, because the president gave instruction that they should give you money. But the president didn't say pay him cash. If you have evidence that he said pay cash, then bring it up. If the president says that, that means the president himself has infringed on the law, because the law is clear. So it's a lesson now for some of these politicians, but I know that they will not stop. Rather, they will try to cover their tracks. And a lot of them are very daring. A lot of our politicians are very daring. They don't fear anything. You look a politician in the face, you know that guy. This one looks like somebody who has killed someone. Because they just very daring, very menacing look on the face of the politician. It's a devil-may-care attitude that whatever happens, you know, they always think that they can circumvent the law. But at least we are seeing occasionally the EFCC, the ICPC able to prove their case against some politicians sufficiently to the point that conviction can happen. Right. We need a lot more convictions, you know, so that the attitude of our people can change. Right.
But Lainka, you know, even if as much as this might be a good development in terms of justice and how to contain money laundering in our country, there are insinuations already that this conviction of Mr. Okupe was targeted solely at his principal, that is Mr. Peter Obi, and of course, as a Labour Party presidential candidate. But what do you make of this? Do you think that could be a likely insinuation here?
Well, no matter what happens, there will be that insinuation. One, because of the party it belongs to, and secondly, because of the time it is happening. As far as we can see, what is there is, this has happened to Okupe today. Who is next? We not rule out that fact that people will say, oh, because he's obedient, is this, is that. Granted, everybody has the right to say that. But what we need to know is that what he did, is it right? No. Because whether if today it is Obi that is Okupe, tomorrow the shoe might be on another leg. And if it is another party, the party in power today will also say it is because. So, and that is the reason why our laws are being breached. Because if you look at what people are going to say, even if you assuming that it belongs to the ruling party now, there will still be some people who will bring out some reason that, oh, because he's from this part of the country, or because he's supporting this candidate. So,
but the issue is, when did the case even start?
The case started long before now.
Oh.
It didn't start yesterday.
That means it was not instituted because he joined the Labour Party.
So the truth of the matter is that politicians must always watch what they do.
Right.
Because what you do today, tomorrow, you don't know what will happen.
Well, let me quickly take this call from Abuja. Philip, if you're still there, please go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening. My name is Ini.
Oh, apologies there. Please go ahead.
Yeah. The issue of banditry, as Mr. Babajide earlier said, education. I will beg Mr. Babajide to use maybe 2 hours to beg our politicians. They should be lenient with our people. There is hunger. Babajide, I'm begging you in the name of God talk to these politicians. You don't send these children to school. What do you expect from them? Look at this Yahoo boys. Some of them, they don't mind killing their father, killing their mother, all because of money. Please.
All right.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Ini. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for your thoughts so far on the show. So, Babajide, where do you leave this now? Your final thoughts on this whole issue?
Yeah, we need to tighten our laws, in fighting corruption. We need to strengthen the agencies, make them more efficient, and let's deploy technology a lot more so that it will be difficult to get away with corruption. In other countries of the world, even former presidents have been jailed. Yeah. You don't steal their money. You try it, nothing will save you. But in our country, you tend to feel that laws are made for the commoners alone. That should not be the case. Anybody who has wronged, who has infringed on our law should go to jail, no matter who you are, no matter who you work for. Once you've committed the offense, you deserve to go to jail. People can then say what they like afterwards. But if you commit an offense, there's no other place for you. It's the jail. And the laws should be made tighter. Why are we increasingly having drug trafficking and all that? Because the punishment for drug trafficking is a slap in the wrist.
It's a slap on the wrist, yeah.
So let's make the laws tighter. Where we need to amend the laws, let's amend them, and so that we can defeat crime in our country.
Right. Olaika, well, let me quickly ask you this question. What do you think the party, that's the Labour Party, should do following the conviction of its campaign director?
It goes without saying. If we were to be a responsive society, immediately the conviction was pronounced, Okupe should have stepped
by himself.
Shouldn't even wait. Without any impromptu. Because there's nothing, whether the court has adjudged you guilty. So the next thing to do is to step down. You can walk behind the scene, but not holding that position.
Yes.
He doesn't.
He shouldn't be the face of the party.
No, he shouldn't be. And I hope he will do that fast.
All right, let's quickly move on to